Hi, Sitaram, Namaste. My name is Nisha Amracha. I am from Trinidad and Tobago, West Indies. I'm an archaeologist and researcher on ancient history and Indo-European civilizations. I've been involved in the Hindu Students Association and with the Hindu community for many years, including trying to get Diwali as a holiday in New York City. So without further ado, I'd like to open this gathering of the Indian American Intellectuals Forum and the Bangladesh Hindu Coalition on our open discussion and talks on secularism and the Citizenship Amendment Act, which was recently passed in India. And we have a lot of wonderful speakers here today, scholars in New York City and acclaimed individuals who are here to address us. And they have, before I start, they have 6 minutes to speak and 3 minutes of open discussion and talk. And if we could keep within that time frame would be lovely. So first up, I would like to introduce you all to the president of the Indian American Intellectuals Association, Ari Sahani ji. He is a community leader and activist in New York and US, and he has taken over from the wonderful and larger-than-life Nareen Kataria ji, whom we all remember and are friends with. What a wonderful man. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Arish ji, who has been doing so much for us in New York City over so many decades. Thank you.
Namaskar. Before I start, I want to recite Gayatri Mantra, and I hope everybody knows Gayatri Mantra. I hope everybody sitting here is Hindu by his ancestors. So now let's say Om, Om, Om. And now we do Gayatri Mantra for 3 times. Om Bhur Bhaswa Tasavitavareniyam Bhargo Devasude Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhur Bhaswa Tasavitvareniyam Bhargo Devasude Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhur Bhaswa Tasavitvareniyam Bhargo Devasude Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Bharat Mata Ki Jai! Bharat Mata Ki Jai! Bharat Mata Ki Jai! It's an honor to stand here and talk to you on very simple, basic things. Indian American Intellectual Forum was formed by Mr. Nayan Kataria, me, Chaudhary, and M.G. Prasad. Kataria ji is not here, Dr. M.G. Prasad is not here, but me as the president and Chaudhary as the vice president, and you are all the members of Indian American Intellectual Forum just by attending this program. So you should feel the part of this Indian American Intellectual Forum. So question is why we are gathered here and why these meetings are important. I think the meetings are very important. When people get together, they start feeling about each other. Now when you sit here, sit with each other, you connect to each other. Then love and respect develops automatically. So these meetings are very, very important, and we should thank Chaudhary for this, because he initiated this idea that we should get together and we should, even 50 people come, 40 comes, doesn't matter, let's get together. And I want to thank Chaudhary ji to taking the initiative. We have been conducting Indian Hindu Unity Day for last 22 years. And we have been very successful because of only one reason, because we have Dr. Subramanian Swami as our chief guest every time. And every time he comes here, we arrange the program and it becomes a success. And he is the only one we know he is for Hindus, because he talks clearly and point to the point. And I think we should all watch what he says, when he says, where he says. He's always on the YouTube. And I request all of you, if you have not watched him, please do that. So that will be my request to you. Now coming to today's point, it's very simple. Everybody knows what CAA is there. I'm not going to describe it at all. So what I'm going to tell you, I have some questions, and hopefully these questions will make you understand what we should be doing. So I want to ask you some questions. You call yourself human beings, you are educated, you know how to get information, you call yourself Hindu, you belong to the oldest culture of world, you know other civilization perished, you know your civilization still exists because this civilization has been birth of many great souls who brought new thoughts and reform. You know you have an enemy. You know these facts. Your enemy has a very clear goal. You know your enemy lives around you. You know enemy plans. You are the people who are people who are bad. Do you ever told them that they are bad? If not, why not? Do you have a leader? Do you like him or her? What you can do for them? Do you know the history of Islam? Do you know the history of Christian? Do you know how and when local do you know how many millions died to register? So do you know the history of Christian? Do you know how and when local got converted to their cultures? Do you see any control of your when and where you will when will you raise it? You know there is no one like you in this world. You know you are unique, but you know today what you do affects your surrounding. If you are good, thanks to your parents and to your company, now you can see what happening to the world around you. Why I'm asking these questions? Because these are the questions should come in everybody's mind. If you don't have these questions in your mind, you will not get up and do anything. So the whole idea of putting these questions was not to give you details of what CAA is there. I don't want to tell you what's happening in India, what Islam is doing, what Christian is doing. You should know, ask this question to yourself, and from this question you should initiate your self-knowledge. This 21st century is a century of information. Everything is available on the fingerprints. I feel sometimes very ashamed. All the people who converted in the last 1500 years or 2500 years have all the information to know what happened to the people who converted and who didn't convert it. And it's time that they should understand, go to the Google, search what their forefathers were there, why they converted, and why they are still following the same culture while they can convert and change themselves. Today, if you see in America, we have many good souls came in this country. We have ISKCON organization started by Prabhupada, who was at age 60, came in this country. Look what he has done, miracle. Only with one reason, he brought some message of non-violence, not on violence, but also devotion, yoga, meditation, and loving each other, giving free food. So all these good things we have it. Why we Hindus are not doing anything while we can do a lot? Now why we are not doing anything? Because we are not united. Why we are not united? We don't know the reason. Maybe we don't have leaders. Maybe we have leaders, but they don't know what to do. So all this meeting, what we're doing is to bring, I'm putting this question in your mind, so you should ask yourself, hey, what is my life is all about? Today we have been told as a Hindu that you should always ask this question to yourself, why I am born, what I am doing in this earth, what are my goals, and where I will go after I am dead. You all know that today whatever we have belongs to somebody else, as per our Gita, and whatever we have will belong to somebody else, and it will go to somebody else in the future. We come with nothing, go with nothing. The question is what we are doing in this country, what we are doing in this world, we should be very careful about it. You should bless yourself first, and you should be proud of yourself for one thing, that you are born Hindu. To be born Hindu is a privilege. So it's very important. Hello, sir.
You can keep that back, sir.
Just take it.
Yeah, okay.
We don't need it. So it's very important, we should be proud of ourselves that you are born as a Hindu. As you are born Hindu, then question is what is your goal and what is your responsibility. You know today, few cultures are hated. Hated so badly, not only they hated actually, whoever has converted in Middle East, Africa, look at their life, look at your life. What is the difference? People who are converted, look at the Middle East, how the Middle East has been destroyed. Look at the people who are converted living in Bangladesh and Pakistan. They want to come to India. They don't want to live there. Even they are converted, but they have no reason to live there. So we should be very happy and proud of our culture, and we should go out and promote our culture one way or another way. People who are converted, they want to come back, but we are not asking them to come back. Why we are not asking them to come back? Because if you look around, there are 56 Islamic nations, 100 Christian nations, not a single Hindu nation. So this CAA came with the idea that okay, all the Hindus who are persecuted should be allowed to come to India and get citizenship. It was a very good idea. But it seems like that this idea was not accepted by the people who got converted. So we have to teach them, inform them, and I hope this sessions of ours, hope the people who are sitting here will go with the message, and these questions which I had just told, there are a lot more questions are there. Maybe I'll come back and talk about those questions in the future. So in the meantime, I want to thank everybody who has come here. Please go with the message very clearly. Be proud of yourself and know what you are here for and what you can do for the country. For every country, we need leaders. And if you have a leader, you should know how to support it. Without leaders, you are nothing. If you are a leader, if you don't support it, then you are nothing also. So you should know, today we have good leaders in India. BJP government is in the power after so many years. They have majority, but the majority can be lost if you don't support them. So I hope and request everybody, if you're Hindu, if you should work for Hinduism, you should work for your future generation. Your future generation will survive only if you do something like our forefathers, our Sikh gurus, sacrifice themselves to see that we Hindus survive. So it is our duty for our children and grandchildren to see we sacrifice ourselves, maybe money, maybe time, whatever it is, to make sure that our civilization is survive. So I'm very happy to see that you are all here. So I thank, and back to Nisha.
Thank you, Arishji. So just a reminder, in order to have these things, we are always welcoming small donations. Please enjoy the tea and refreshments and the snacks provided by the organizations. We will have the talks now, and then from 1 to 2 p.m. we will go to lunch. Right now I would like to introduce Dr. Narinder Kukar, who is a very accomplished physician in the community and a lead activist amongst the Hindus for the last 40 years.
Before that,
thanks very much. Thanks, Pavitra, who I know have been working for this community for the last maybe more than 35 or 40 years that I know of. I'm not a Bengali. I don't look like from Bengal, okay? But some or other, I think that revolutionary spirit of Bengal seemed to have seeped into me. I do not know whether because of association with these guys or Manoranjan Datta, who was a professor at Rutgers University and one of my mentors. Anyway, the point we really have today is what is life like living in Pakistan or Bangladesh? Let's stay to Bangladesh for non-Muslims. You know, I am an outsider in a way. I don't live in Bangladesh. My family is not there. I am not uprooted. I am from Punjab. And fortunately, when the partition took place, my hometown came within India. And the border from my hometown is only 3 miles. So it's a stroke of luck that, you know, I am within India. I was a little kid, okay? All I knew is how people were crossing into Pakistan and the trains are coming from Pakistan with dead bodies. Not live bodies, they were dead bodies. But I was not allowed to go, I was too little. The point we're really making today is when any nation works and gives shelter to the oppressed, that nation is complimented. that nation is appreciated by the world. Here, India has gone out of its way after almost a lapse of 50 years of suffering of Bangladeshi Hindus, Sikhs, and other minorities, and it is being ridiculed in the West, and it is being even agitated against by some of the Indians in India. That is because none of us spread what went on and what you all suffered from or your family when you came. I was amazed that one of my own colleagues, whom I know for 15 years plus, it's only yesterday that I found out what he went through when he was a little kid, how he hid in the sari of her mother, and how he walked for 4 or 5 days to come to India, because we don't talk about it. If we don't talk about it, how will anybody know what we went through? Okay? It is the first time yesterday that I learned from a Kashmiri, and I have Kashmiri friends for the last 50 years. I've been in this country for about 53 years.
50 years at least.
53 years. Sorry, it disclosed my age, okay? I could have otherwise said I'm much younger than that, okay? But just to say, and he told me that from the Muslim masjid, it wasn't namaz that was coming. The message coming was, leave your daughters and go. Are you with me? Leave your daughters and go. And that was the message. Okay? So they just left with their children. The question at this time is not that this community, the Bengali community, minorities in Bangladesh have been suffering for more than 1971, and this is about 48 years.
73 years. More
And-
than 73 years.
Senator Kennedy in 1971 has recorded on November 1st, 1971, that the Hindu community has been suffering in Bangladesh for the last so many years, and he used straight words, which we don't use. I do, but most of you don't, I think. Have been massacred, have been gruesomely killed. And this has been written in Wall Street Journal as far back as 1985, has been written in Time magazine as far back as 2001, today it's 2019, that's 18 years ago, and has been reported by the Canadian Human Watch Group from 2001 to 2007. And there have been delegations from the United States Congress to Bangladesh, am I right? And Pavitra was there when the delegation went. I do not know whether you went there or not, but I did not, because if I had gone there, you wouldn't be seeing me alive here now. I would be also gone, okay? Because that's what is the culture, unfortunately, of this. So what can we do? There are few things as Bengalis and Bangladeshis you can do. Okay? That is, whether you write an open letter, taking even a small advertisement in your local paper, sending a petition to the Prime Minister, saying all Bangladeshi Hindus and minorities who have been made to leave their country, we need restitution and monetary compensation for the property we left behind. We, Bangladeshi, and you have records of it. The record is published in one of the books that some of you published, and it is published from within the United States, New York. I will be able to give you the number, the address of that book, okay? Later on in the discussion, I have it written. And the next item you can request them is that those people who were responsible for committing these crimes, they should be prosecuted and charged with crimes. Personally, not generic government of Bangladesh. No government of Bangladesh. Abdul Hassan or Abdul Khan or Yahya Khan. These are the three responsible people in this area. They were the police commissioner and they ordered this, and they should be charged with crime. Third thing, where you could all say to the government of India, because nobody else will listen to you people, to say we need this issue to be raised in the International Court of Hague. No time to sit back and just react, time to act. There's a big difference between reaction and action. Reaction is you're just trying to save yourself. Action is you say, here you go, okay? And it is time to do that. We by nature are gentle, but our gentleness should not be considered that we are coward. And that is where it is. It is time to speak and call a spade. There are so many, my own highly educated friends and others, they have no idea what happened to Bangladeshi Hindus, whether their daughters were raped or not. Are you all aware that they have raped wives in presence of their husband and children?
Yes.
Did you see it in any newspapers in the United States, even Indian newspapers?
No.
What the hell happened? Are we dead? Or are we idiots? Or we are combined? Both of it. Why isn't there? Somebody comes and rapes my neighbor's daughter and I don't speak about it. Forget about my own daughter. So if you don't speak, how will people know? If I were you, I would even take an ad in the local Bengali newspaper saying, this is what has happened. And when the government of India gives me time, and when the government of India gives us this opportunity to come back, it is a God-given gift to save these human beings from the clutches of Islam. Call the word as it is. Don't mince words. Don't say Bangladeshi government. Say the word. It's not Bangladeshi government. It is Islam that's doing it to you. Thank you very much.
We have a few minutes for questions. Any questions for Dr. Narga?
So, sir, you mentioned about, some kind of file of food in international court, but because the relationship between the India and Bangladesh would be at stake if government were to do that, is it possible for a forum to have a class action suit, maybe in US, I don't know if it falls under the jurisdiction or not, but otherwise at least in some court where you get some attention in media. So what we need is first draw media attention. I don't think government of India would do that because of the relationship between Bangladesh and India, and obviously that can be at stake. But I think it would be good for the forum to look at that and file even a token suit and then have a media talk about it.
I'm going to answer that with a quote from Sir Winston Churchill. Sir Winston Churchill, even when India was still not an independent nation, said, while the Hindu elaborates on his arguments, the Muslim is sharpening his sword. So, sir, what Sir Winston Churchill said at that time, we are still doing that. We don't have to worry. I may have said it in a very thing, but it's a very serious matter. By nature, we are reasonable people. We look at the reason and I say, forget the reason. Whether they act or not, that is their job. My conscience is clear. I raised my voice. I went out. I appealed to it. I don't give a damn what he does.
I agree with you that should still be done, but the chances of government of India filing a suit will be very less. So as a secondary, is it possible for the forum to file any suit in a court? Because that is needed to draw attention in media, because sometimes the media doesn't pay attention, but if there is in the court and there is few hearings and the matter is put in the court with evidence, there will be some media attention.
You gave me a very good thought in your discussion. Why not few Bangladeshis right here, file a suit in the United States court saying we have been deprived of this by Bangladeshi government and we filed a suit against Bangladeshi government.
That's what I mean.
Okay? Very good thought, and you gave me the thought, I just elaborated on it.
Thank you so much.
And you will get far more attention than all these hundreds of meetings we have.
Great.
And Kataria Sahib knows it better, because when Congress filed a suit against them, because they had the courage to say something, $100 million, and we won it. We won it. Okay.
And we were supported by the community
Yes.
to fight the case. That's another thing. We didn't have to spend our own money. Community supported us. So let's file the suit and then see what happens.
Yes, and we can do crowdfunding for that if needed.
Yes.
There are attorneys who will be very happy to take it. Take an American attorney, I'm telling you, with the help of a Bengali attorney, because he will add passion, and American attorney will bring attention. I don't have to say to you, when a white man files a suit in a white country, okay? Okay. I'm an outright speaker, okay? I've been given death threats in the United States 3 times, okay? So this is nothing new to me, okay? And I'm still living, okay?
Just to add, I have been on the radio show for 10 years. I'm on TV show right now for last 1 year, just Hindi. And you'll be surprised when you get threat, you don't have to worry about it. When I was given threat, I call IBM, CBI, CBI told me, and FBI told me, don't worry about it. People just make nuisance, they are nuisance. We are watching everybody, don't worry about it. You do what is right, and when you do something right, you don't worry about the results, because Gita says very clearly, your job is to do action on it. You don't have to worry about the results. So let's not worry about the results. Let's do the things which are necessary to do it. I appreciate that you people are here, and it's time to take action, not just discussion.
Exactly.
And discussions are important, no doubt about it, but after discussion, we should come up with some action plan, and hope after this meeting, some people will get together, find some leadership among themselves, and take some actions. And I think today's discussion, Dr. Coker has given us a reasons to fight back, because others are sharpening their knives. Now question is, do you want to be dead or do you want to be alive?
Thank you, Dr. Kukar and Arishi, for such passionate comments. I would like to call now on Dilip Chakraborty ji, the President of the North American Bengali Conference and the Cultural Association of Bengal.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, and Mr. Shahani, and Professor Chaudhary, and some of my old friends. It's a very honoring for me to say a few words in this meeting. I was asked by Mr. Chaudhary a couple of days ago, and I couldn't make it. I'm so lucky that I met all of you, and I hear some of the pains, I hear some of the enthusiasms so far spoken by Dr. Kakkar and Shahaniji. I'll tell you a few things of my experience as a Hindu family was living in Bangladesh, and when India was divided, I believe it was divided on the basis of 2 things, on the religion and religion only. Hindus who live in Hindustan, which is nowadays India, and Muslims who live in Pakistan, which was known as East Pakistan and West Pakistan before. Now East Pakistan became Bangladesh and West Pakistan remains Pakistan. So if that was done by the Mahatma Gandhi leadership and Nehruji's support and our Bengali leaders, they all wanted that way. So my question was very simple. When I was like 3 and 4 years old, one day some people came to our house, they were Muslims, and they said, my father was known in the area as Thakurda. Since we were Bengali Brahmins, we had a temple in the area. My father was a very learned man, my grandfather, that was our tradition. So everybody used to tell my dad, Thakurda. They came and said, Thakurda, you have 24 hours to leave this place, and if you don't, we'll simply come and kill you. My question, my father took his suitcase and hold my hand and my sister's hand, my mother and my aunt. We were going into the train station. Then I asked my dad, Baba, kya hoche? Means, Daddy, what happened? Why do I have to leave this place? My father said, you won't understand it. Someday when you understand, try to help. Everybody who became like you today and who will become like you tomorrow. If you can bring a change into their lives, that will be the best thing you will be doing as a human being, as a Hindu, because Hinduism is the most powerful and most valuable thing you are born in. Try to utilize it. So my question to all these things, all our Hindu brothers and Hindu sisters nowadays, whenever we see something is happening, Muslims are doing something, we just try to say, or not to say it, not to think about it. Our gentleness is considered by the other party. In other words, Muslims, they think we are cowards. We don't have the strength to fight back, or we'll never, instead of fighting back, we'll never attack them. Their atrocities. I'm not trying to attack them personally. Their atrocities, that should be attacked all the times. And whenever you see any Hindu innocent person is being tortured or anything, please raise your voice, because we have to speak up. If we don't speak up, nobody will understand our pain, understand our destitute situation that we are in. So we must speak up, and we must say to our God, God, thank you, you made me a Hindu, and I must carry your duty as a Hindu. That's all I want to say. And also, I want to say one other verse. Gita said, Ma phaleshu kadachana, means, ফলের জন্য ভাববেন না, আপনি কাজ করুন, ফল God will give you. And সেই ফলের উপর আমার কোনো অধিকার নেই. That অধিকার remains to everybody. Thank you. And have a good day.
Any questions for him?
I don't have any, sorry, not a specific question. There is a rally at 2 o'clock at Citizenship Amendment Act supported at Times Square. That is the venue we want to come out and say in public to people, this is what we suffered. I am a Bangladeshi Hindu. My family was thrown out of this place. For you to come and say that my family was thrown out, it's a very telling thing. I request people who are affected, their families affected, come there and say it. Just a simple placard, we have empty placards. Say that, and that will go viral in the social media. Because this is at 2 o'clock at Times Square today.
Okay, I don't think if I will be able to go today, but in future, if I come to know ahead of time, I'll definitely try to tell my stories and request all my friends to be with you guys. You see?
So what we'll do is we'll take down maybe the association's few members' contact details. So we are planning this rally across the US, right? So it has happened in already 17 cities. We are doing it in New York City today. We'll share the details with you so even if it is happening in other cities, you will know.
The person who was talking, his name is Doshapati, and he is very active. Like I was sued for $100 million, he was also sued for $100 million.
Oh.
And I was sued one time, he was sued 2 times. So now question is why he got sued. Because when you fight, you always have reaction. But when you win, it gives you a lot of courage to fight back also. So what he is doing is very remarkable. What I think a lot of people who are sitting here, if they can take time out, join him on 2 o'clock, it will be a great thing actually. And I request everybody, if you are having not much work, please go and attend the program with him. And I hope we will give him some time to talk also. So now when we just heard about it, how people have suffered in Bangladesh, same thing happened to me. I was also 3-4 years old, and my father told me, you know who came to kill him? His own Muslim friend. Nobody else came to kill him. His own Muslim friend came to kill him and told him, now this time that I have to kill you. My father says, hey, we are friends together for so many years. Why we have to kill each other? He said, no, now this is Islamic nation. You have no right to live here and I have to kill you. My father backed him and that's why I'm survived today. And today if you ask me, the most hated community in the world is only one. It's Muslims. And look at all the Muslims who have done to their own country. These are not real Muslims. Bangladeshi Muslims are not real Muslims. Pakistani Muslims are not real Muslims. Real Muslims are in Saudi Arabia. These are all converts. And who are these converts from? From Hinduism, Buddhism. Now these converts are destroying their own nation. Look what they have done to Iraq, what they have done to Syria, what they have done to Libya. These are all converted people. They are not real Muslim people. Real Muslim people converted them to destroy themselves, to destroy their own race. And these people don't know what's happening to them and what they are doing actually. So we need some good writers, and hopefully some writer will educate them, inform them, hey, you are destroying yourself, your own race, own culture, and look at the other people who converted you, they are enjoying, they are having a good time. So the question is, some information is not going out properly, and maybe it is a duty as the 21st era to educate people, inform people what is right and what is wrong, and hopefully this happens soon.
Namaste. I live in Marlborough, New Jersey. I've been, Narayan Kataria ji is our guru. I think I cried as much as his family cried when he passed away. And so I just want to say that Hinduism is a religion, is the only religion that is available today in the world that speaks for inclusiveness, that speaks for the major religion, that speaks for us, and it is a worth of protecting. It is one of the most scientific religions we have in the world. And if we lose it, it's not just a loss to us, it's a loss to the humanity. When you look at what is going on with the Christian says our God is the only God, Muslim says our God is the only God. And but even Buddhism also doesn't say that. Ours is the only religion which says that every form of worship, no matter what you call, like Sadhguru says, our country is not a religious, it's a country of seekers. Every God is in any form you have. That is why for what is going on in the world, Hinduism is the best answer we have. And it is the most scientific religion. Everything, I mean, you look at, I mean, most people are only look at the virtue of rituals, but behind everything in Hinduism, there is so much science behind it. And even now they are exploring what it is. So we have been active for last 10 years with the Kataria ji, Arisamani ji, Pavitra ji and all. Supporting BJP. Supporting also, we also supported Narendra Modi ji and BJP. In fact, my wife went, she took her 3 weeks vacation this year vacation and did campaigning in the villages in Karnataka. So we all have to do it. There are so many people who have done it, and we all have to do it, and that's the only way we are going to make change. But I just want you to understand what is going on in the world today. Why is Western media talk so against, in spite of so much violence against Hindus, the New York Times, Washington Post, they talk against, they don't even have any positive words to say about what Modi ji and Amit Shah has done, just giving relief. And we have to understand, there is in the West especially, the Christian fundamentalists, the missionaries wants to use this Hindu-Muslim thing to divide, just like they did in Rwanda. They want to divide and create, speak up as if Hindus are most atrocious people and Muslims are the victims. They are playing it up just for the sake of conversion. Because anytime, if you look in South America and Rwanda or any other countries, what they do is they go to the place, look at the differences, the fault lines. I hope some of you heard Raju Malhotra's Breaking India. So there is a complex of missionary forces, Islamic forces trying to divide India, break India. And so please make sure, today there is a beautiful article by my colleague Arvind Kumar that came on IAIF. They are all the time they keep attacking Hindus and India. So just be informed what is going on. Just don't take what New York Times says. But most importantly, if somebody comes and says, my family was driven out, for example, what I was saying earlier, and driven out to stand in a placard in a meeting, it has a potential to go all over the world instantly. So you have to come out of your nest, come out and speak. That is very, very important. You can talk here in a closet here and we can do it, but you go out the social media, instantly you can, millions and billions of people can see. So if you are affected family, we request you to come to the Times Square. We have empty placards and your family, say my family is empty and this is what happened in my family, it matters. So please speak up, and this world is only way we can save this humanity today is, whether they want to call it Hinduism or not, it is the principles of Hinduism is going to save this world.
See, again, I grew up here, and I'm from Kolkata, but in general, I think, there are a couple of things, I've been listening to a lot of prominent people here. Couple of things. We've always said Hinduism is inclusion, right? And I think, like for example, if you look at Bernie Sanders, right? He's very much a proponent, well, he's been speaking against Hinduism, right? Now, the reason is why. First of all, we have fundamental problems within India, meaning, it's not a problem, we have many different languages. So there's always this translations and all, I think plays a major role why it doesn't transmit right away. As opposed to the Muslims, in communications and all, they still use their Arabic language.
What is your question?
So my main question, what I'm trying to do, it's not a question, I'm making a comment, is that any time, I think we have to get politicians, and even there are Muslims actually that are in favor of, and they know the story, like Dr. Rajwan, I think in India, he speaks, he actually in favor of Modi, and he basically says, we have to approach people also like that.
Let me tell you.
We cannot say Islam.
Let me tell you something. They are in this world for one reason. They have their goals. They know how to achieve the goals. They know how to fool people. Question is, you should ask question yourself. 1500 years back, Islam came. Before that, Christ was there 2500 years. Now you ask question, people before 2500 years, who were they? What happened to those people? What happened to that history? You should ask this question to yourself and ask those people too.
I'm not against anything. I'm talking about...
Before you talk, you should know, when we say the Hindu religion is the only religion inclusive, you have to understand that first. Once you understand, then you have to see what others are doing is nothing but to destroy you. And they have games to destroy you.
No, I'm not talking about that. Absolutely. Again, you have to see, in terms of conversion, right? There are many things.
Why don't you
No. Conversion is their business. It is for money making.
You're still not listening.
It is let's not.
You're not listening to me. You're going totally. Please listen to me. What I'm saying. I'm saying yes.
Why don't you allow her to come here and talk?
I'm saying Hinduism absolutely is one of the greatest philosophic religion, scientific religion. I'm totally in favor. And what I'm trying to say is, because Hinduism is the way Hinduism is, which we know is, it's one of the most scientific language, it's very philosophical, it doesn't discriminate, all these things. So with that framework in mind, what I'm trying to say is the moment you say they are Islam, we do, what I'm trying to say, our own philosophy, fundamental philosophy, you're actually, you're kind of, how to say, you're minimizing the philosophy. What I'm trying to say is that we should reach, politicians and say, look, this is what Hinduism is all about. We support the oppressed.
I agree with you.
We help the oppressed.
Very good. Thank you very
But we
much.
do not.
We agree with you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but anyway, the chief secretary for Bernie Sanders is a Pakistani Muslim. He's the
That's
one.
what I'm saying. We have to
Yeah.
reach out politicians we can talk to. They can speak what
The
Hinduism
Tulsi
is all
Gabbard is
about.
doing a great job. We can support Tulsi Gabbard.
Let me tell you something. All these people are educated people. They are not fools. They have all the information. They don't want to accept whatever they read. That is the problem. It is their mindset. So don't tell us that we can go and educate them. They cannot be educated. Okay?
So let us just march onwards with the talks. I know everybody's getting very passionate about the issue.
The talk is here today for a particular reason, not for discussing the genuine or absurdity of religion. We are constrained to that particular section.
Thank you. So I'd like
We'll leave it
to
to that, our talk today.
I'd like to get to our next speaker, Dr. Basuli Dev, who is an author and a professor from Queens College and Nebraska. No, they give me the information. All right, okay, thank you. All right, so I'm going to give the floor to Dr. Dev.
Okay. I'm going to, unlike the others, I will need my laptop. Okay. So do you want? Okay. No, I'll stand. I just need to. I will introduce myself a little bit so that you know where I'm coming from, because my talk it's going to be extremely brief, and I'm going to. It's going to be very different from what the others have said. So I'm sorry, I'm standing with my back to some people here. Really apologize. Okay, so I do want to mention some of my credentials so you understand where I'm coming from. So I'm currently a visiting scholar at the Institute for the Study of Human Rights at Columbia. And I'm also a global scholar at Rutgers, New Brunswick at the Institute for Research on Women. And I teach at both the graduate and undergraduate levels at CUNY. And the reason why I'm going to approach this issue from a conflict resolution point of view is because that's one of my key training, because I started working on human rights issues during when I was working on the Guatemala genocide, and currently I am working on the Rohingya genocide and the refugee crisis. Huh? Yes, but I do want to position myself because I just saw what happened. Okay, so. And I'm very open to questions, so please do not hesitate to ask questions. If you disagree with me or if you agree with me, I'm absolutely open, and I will stand by for the audience if you have a disagreement with me. Okay, so my very brief talk is called "What Does Democracy Look Like? Vandalism as an Obstacle to Conflict Resolution in a Democracy." In my brief talk today, I want to raise the key issue of conflict resolution in the Indian democracy today. The Greek root of the word democracy, which is a combination of demos and kratia, translates as people rule or rule by the people. However, the question that has been brought up again and again in the current Indian context is, who are the people? However, if we accept this contestation over the definition of democracy in India today, it is important to understand that on the ground, any kind of political dialogue that the opposition wants to have with the government has to keep democracy front and center in its discussion, no matter how many philosophers have argued that in its ideal form, democracy can also become anarchy. the pragmatic demands today, despite all the reasons the people or demos has for or against the establishment, is that their representatives, no matter what their arguments for or against, at the heart of a resolution is the ability of the demos of the people to sit with the government for negotiation and dialogue. Vandalism and destruction of state property might send a message to the establishment about the anger of that part of the demos which is opposed to the policies of the government, but it is not the most astute or wise way to pave the way for getting to the negotiation table for a dialogue with the government. Credibility is key here, no matter how conservative that argument sounds. Now, I also want to address the issue of media and democracy. When we, both in the United States and in India, when we had constitutional protection for the freedom of the press, we were not talking in a world where social media was prevalent. Now, what it has become is we have a lot of independent journalists in social media. And what we need to also be aware, and I go back to the issue of credibility of the opposition, and I'm here playing the devil's advocate and talking about even if we do not agree with the opposition, by virtue of the fact that we are claiming ourselves to be connected overseas with the democracy of India, we need to understand where the freedom of press lies in an environment of social media. Do we distribute as activists, whether in favor of the establishment or against the establishment, as independent journalists who are also activists, do we take pictures of other kinds of congregation happening in other parts of the world and submit it on social media and say, this is the level of opposition in India? Because that is fake news, right? And I'm sitting on Facebook and I'm seeing people having to pull down those pictures. Either way, vandalism or the kind of fake news that is being circulated, it does not lead to credibility. And at the heart of the rule of the people, whether it is for pragmatic reasons or whether it is for idealistic reasons, if they even want to get to the table to sit with the establishment, there has to be credibility. And I'm going to end with that.
Continue and call Dr. Dvijan Bhattacharya to the floor. Is he here? He's a member of the Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council and a professor himself.
Namaskar. Good morning. My name is My name is Tejan. So you attached Columbia to my name. I teach there, but after an academic paper from a true human rights professor, it's very hard for me to talk. I am a human rights activist and not an academician here. I first salute any Indian here for rescuing us in 1971. Pranam Namaskar. You gave shelter to 10 million people. Your soldiers laid down their lives to make Bangladesh happen. I again salute you today for enacting the Indian Citizenship Act of 2019. I am, and many of my brothers and friends here, are direct beneficiaries of this magnanimous action on the part of India. I salute you. I salute you. I want to point out something, but the very last point, then I go to my point if you give me like 3 minutes. I heard a lot of discussion about Rohingya Kashmir. Let me tell you something very humbly, if I may, Professor. There are 45 Islamic countries in the world, and 5 Muslim majority nations. They can take care of the persecuted Muslims. There is only, very humbly presenting it, I've thought about this. There is only one Hindu majority country in the world, and in Nepal, but only India. Any Hindu anywhere in the world look up to India as their savior. Also, the roots of our religion, a myth, if you will, if you like, whatever it is, our culture, it all goes back to India. We Indians, we Hindus, wherever we may live in the world, we need a shelter to go to. This is exactly what India has kindly done. My sister from Calcutta, well, I grew up as an SFI kind of person in Bangladesh, and our songs were "We Shall Overcome" and "Bob Dylan." Many of you are. But look, today, let's talk what is reality. I'm a realist. I'm not going to go Muslim bashing here. What the Muslims are as a religious group is well known, too well known to the world. You have seen what they have done in Nigeria 2 days ago. How many people they have slaughtered. Okay, having said that, let me divide my 2-minute, 3-minute speech into 3 parts. One, not in that order, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP's Secretary General Mirza Fakhr Alamgir recently challenged Honorable Amit Shah. He said that no minority persecution is happening in Bangladesh. I will discuss this first and then talk about NRC for 1 minute. Again, it relates to Bangladesh in an interesting way. And then the Citizenship Act, 1 minute if I may. Mr. Alamgir, when your government came to power in Bangladesh in 2001, you celebrated your election victory by raping 200 Hindu girls. I have all the documents here. Anybody who wants it, these are all documented, and I'll provide them here. Okay, you celebrated your party's election victory. You partnered with Jamaat-e-Islami, the Islamic terrorist party, and you celebrated your election victory by raping 200 Hindu girls in one night. Janakanto reported that the reported victims of rape, 98.7% of them are Hindus. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you another example here, and I hope Mr. Alamgir will get to hear this. Here is an example. In Chittagong Hill Tracts, on April 10, 1992, when his madam, Begum Khaleda Zia, the Islamic Nationalist Party of Bangladesh's chief, was in power, and I am quoting from 17 US congressmen wrote a letter to her in the aftermath of this incident, and that should suffice, Mr. Alamgir. The atrocities that you have conducted against the minorities of Bangladesh, forcing half of its population to leave the country. After with the help of India and Russia, Bangladesh was created a secular democracy. On that day, when the Chittagong Hill Tracts Adivasi people were preparing for celebrating their Baisavi Utsav, they call it, the event, the military forces cordoned off the entire village, it's called Logang, and then systematically, I'm quoting from that letter, systematically murdered every single person whose number is between 400 to 600. And 17 US, and now this kind of massacres and pogroms are very well documented. Rape, arson, grisly murders, eviction. In a country smaller than Arkansas, they have seized 3 million acres of land from the Hindus and some Buddhists and Christians by using the so-called Enemy Property Act. Who is the enemy? India is the enemy. Property who owns them? The people who, in the face of atrocities, had to flee to India. This is Mr. Alamgir, Bangladesh. I'm not saying everyone. Sheikh Hasina is slightly different. She doesn't directly license killing of the Hindus, but looks the other way. So all of them, successive governments have taken 3 million acres of land. And if I go on and on for hours, I have some research, published research on this. This is the way they do the atrocities. Here is one example, if I may. The BNP, nationalists and Islamists, they enter a house, they kill the brother. He asks for water, they urinate into his mouth. In the other room, they rape his daughter and his sister and his wife, who had a C-section surgery just a week before. So I'm sorry, I mean, there are other people, I'm very sorry about that. There are other people who are experts and worked on the field that could give you a better sense of it, but I could do too. But I'm stopping it here. This is Fakhrul Alamgir and this is Bangladesh. And how many people have fled to India since 1971? The atrocities started right in 72 during the puja. They vandalized everything and the exodus began, and it is very well documented. Professor Barakat, one of the leading professors of Bangladesh, has said, it's published everywhere, after 30 years, not a single Hindus will be left in Bangladesh. India has done a favor to accommodate these people. India, through the Citizenship Act, did not grant citizenship or any relief to the 100,000 Sri Lankan Tamil Hindus there just because they are Hindus. They have given a relief to the victims of religious persecution. To my knowledge, moving to the second point, to my knowledge, there are no registered or known Muslim victims of minority persecution in India. I fail to understand why does this issue arises at all? Where are they? It's by no means a communal legislation. As I said, the Sri Lankan Hindus, they're ethnic victims of ethnic stuff. But it's not a communal legislation, as it has been acknowledged by the Imam Bukhari. You have seen that? He said that this legislation has nothing to do with the Muslims of India, right? So this was overdue. Once again, we are thankful to India for that, Modi ji and Amit Shah ji and all others. And here, I forgot to say, Indian Intellectual Forum is a witness to all that happened to us for 35 years. We have been doing it. I would love to name names here. They're Narendra Kukarji, Shahani ji, Pavitra, they're all here. But I don't want to go into that. I just want to spend one more second on the NRC. I think I have covered the other one. NRC. They're making a big deal. NRC is very difficult, and by doing NRC, Government of India will deny citizenship to the true citizens, Muslim citizens of India. The answer is, this is an unequivocal no to this. It's a complete falsehood. Look at Bangladesh. In India, first of all, NRC began in 1951, I think, that Citizenship Act of 1950, after the census. It's a continued process because the Assamese don't want any Hindus in their country, citing homogeneity, they're losing their cultural homogeneity, linguistic homogeneity, etc. It's an internal matter of India, and I don't want to dwell on this. But look at Bangladesh, how easy it is to do an NRC. First of all, every country has the right to have a list of who its citizens are and who are not. Particularly at this time, you don't want any unknown people in your country who is not a citizen there illegally, because they can do all kinds of, they can wreak havoc, cause mischiefs in India. My final word, if Bangladesh could do NRC in 2006, July, and they produced an NID, National ID card, in order to receive 22 kinds of services, including passport, including all kinds of things, I can name on and on. You need that NID. You cannot do anything without an NID. Why is it so difficult for the Muslims of India, my Muslim brothers of India, to prove that they are son of the soil or their parent soil? Thank you very much.
On Sunday morning to listen to these great words, and I hope you go with some message and some action plan for the future. And it's very important to know what India government is doing under BJP is very, very important. Now let me ask you, how many people would like in their home to get a stranger and live with them? How many people liked it? Nobody would like some stranger get into the house and live with them. So how a country can allow strangers to come and live with them? That's what Mr. Trump is doing, and that's what India government should do. I hope everybody should support India government for this.
And now, without further ado, I'd like to call Dr. Gillian Roy.
Hey, you come in the meantime.
No, you come here.
Come here, Dada.
You come this side.
Left back the radio.
I actually go. In the meantime, you come. He's coming.
I believe there is a gathering in Times Square at 2 p.m. for those who would like to attend on the CAA. If you are a speaker, would you please position yourself to sit at the front so it will be much easier?
What is
Okay, Dr. Gillian. Thank you.
Thank you. I will not repeat what Dr. Bhattacharya has already discussed. What I am going to emphasize on is the CAA. CAA is, in my view, is giving a residency for the victims of atrocities, victims of persecution, which is just like asylum law in US. It compares to that. If you are a victim, if you are afraid of your life, you leave the country, you can ask for an asylum in USA. Same thing is happening in India. It is nothing more than that. Those who are persecuted because of religion or other region, they can have this kind of citizenship or a legal residency in India. In that, I would like to say, which nobody has mentioned, India needs to look at its demographic change, because culture is associated with the country. Country has culture, and when that culture is changed, the pace of the country can change. And I want to see that Indians should look at their cultural demography. It is changing. If you look at West Bengal, what you will see is it is totally different from what you have seen before when you were, young children or something. It is totally different today. I hear that there are talk of secession. West Bengal want to get dissociated with India, and I see the placard, I see banners of Banglastan. What that means is there is a group which is gaining power, and that group wants to get West Bengal separated from India. And this thing will happen everywhere if you let it happen. So this part you should not ignore. So CAA, what it will do, it will help to make the demographic balance equilibrium in West Bengal. Mostly in West Bengal, that will help the Indian, I would say, cultural atmosphere. I think other issue Dijen has already discussed, so I will stop here because we don't have that much time to talk about anything else. Thank you.
So Dr. Sarkar is a physician and a community leader and president of the Motua Mission Temple.
Namaskar, brothers and sisters. I think many things have been told, and I do not want to repeat. Just in respect to CAA, what is it? And everybody knows, and this has been citizenship given to some group of people. I want to add, and I want to thank first to Indian government, Modi ji, Amit Shah ji, for this. I want to make a very important point. I want you guys to pay a little attention. If Sanatana Dharma goes away from India, that will be the end of the human race on the planet. And we need to preserve that. That's very important responsibility we have. And to facilitate that responsibility and to preserve Sanatana Dharma in India and the world, I request Indian government that to grant citizenship to any Hindus of any part of the world willing to come to India. Israel has done it, and it has proven that is very effective way to preserve. You know, Israel is a very small country, surrounded by countries that want to destroy them. They could not. They prevailed and prevailed very strong. And if India is to remain strong, I think that will create a tremendous solidarity among all the Hindus all over the world. And that message has to be conveyed to Prime Minister Modi. Next thing, Pavitra told me that what we are doing in respect to that CAA can be implemented and what is happening now. So things what we are doing, let me give my identity a little bit. Most of the people may not know. With the CAA, it is mostly Bengalis, the Bangladeshi Bengalis are being affected. And among the Bengalis, the Motuo community is 90%. And we are the most beneficiary of this. We are the victim, now we have become the most beneficiary of this system. So, at any cost, we will preserve it, we will make it happen. We will not let it go in vain. So what we are doing at this time, you know that the established media, Anand Bajar and other media, is very much biased against it. Very much. I saw other day, one of the scholars from Ramakrishna Mission wrote a letter against CAA. I want to ask, you know there is a famous Kali temple? Yes. Ramana Kali temple, is it there or no? Little bit, it's almost gone. Dhaka, I'm talking about. Dhaka. Yeah, it's not there anymore. So, if tomorrow West Bengal become an Islamic country, will Dakshineshwar remain there? No. Is there any guarantee? So what these scholars are writing about? I do not understand this thing. The scholar from Ramakrishna Mission writes against CAA. This scholar, I do not know why they got their scholarship.
That's the Bengali.
Yes,
And they are all people.
Okay, so what to do about it? We know the established media does not help us much. So, social media is open.
Yes.
So let's do something on the social media.
Very good.
Yeah. I have gathered IT specialists. I have one of my IT specialists here. We want to search the whole social media and want to focus what is going against it and we want to show the true nature of these people, those who oppose it, and we want to show that we are also supporting it. You guys have seen that the demonstration or the show we saw in the streets of Calcutta, the Matuas has shown, probably no media has published it. Anandavaza did not publish it. But we had hundreds of thousands of people chanting and cheering for the CAA on the streets of Calcutta. We have to show these things that there are people around the world, everywhere, that we are supporting CAA. And I think social media, we have to pick up the social media. And we have to encourage our intellectuals among ourselves also to write about it. We are not writing it. And we need to organize, do publish it. And we are planning to do that. Now, I am trying to say another very important issue. Please pay attention. I think Dr. Jitendra just said that demography. Do you know what is the percentage of Muslim people, Muslim percentage in West Bengal? Anybody knows?
35%.
35, that was 2011.
So now it's 47. Okay.
47 now.
Now 40. Okay. So now, how did it happen? 30 years of communist rule and 80 years of Didi systematically brought people from neighboring country, gave them voter ID, gave them the ration card, gave them everything. They are now there. And
Because India is intolerant. No. It's a Hindu Bengali.
Hindu Bengalis has done this. That's true. So these are communist people, or those who are in the power, they did it. Now, if we allow another 5 years of Didi, what will happen to the demography? You already seen, somebody told, banners hanging in Dhaka, banners hanging in Barasat, in area that Islamic State of Bengal. So it is happening. If we allow in 2021 Mamata Banerjee to win there, and this is going to happen. If West Bengal gone, the whole Northeast will go. Is it clear to everybody? Yes. So can we allow that? Can we allow that 2021 Mamata Banerjee goes there? No. So we have to put in action the plan. And you know the Willy Motuas. We are the single most solidified group in West Bengal, and unfortunately still 2 crores of Motuas living in Bangladesh. So we will think about them in a different way, but let us talk about West Bengal. In West Bengal Assembly, we have 295 seats, and we are decisive factor in 80 seats. So we have a very good, and with the CAA, our numbers will go up, no doubt about it, because there are 70 lakhs people of the East Bengal people are living, those who will be beneficiary of the CAA. We need to implement immediately and unconditionally. That's what everybody, every Hindu who comes from Bangladesh or any place gets citizenship in India, they get the voter right. Now, we need to make a solid plan from now onward with the leadership of Modi ji, with collaboration of BJP, Motuas, so that we win in 2021 election in West Bengal. Jai! Jai! Bharat Mata ki! Bharat Mata ki! Bharat Mata ki! So, we must admit the fact. So why are we here today, the Hindus all over the world and in India, in such a bad condition? This was religious discriminatory practice for thousands of years. That is the way somebody told we have to unify. We were not unified because we created division after division after division among ourselves, and we practiced it for thousands of years, and we ruined ourselves. We must get rid of this thing. Officially, I am seeing Subramanian Swamiji is telling everybody's DNA is same. Don't see the I am up, I am down. Forget about this thing. He is talking about it. Please accept it and let unify. Let unify. At this time, Modi ji is our leader. BJP is the right party. We must unify with them and get everybody under one umbrella and win the election of 2021. If we do not win 2021 in West Bengal, that will be the end of India, I am telling you. That is will the end of India. The whole demography will change, and if once there is a Harvard study shown that in any country, Muslims become 16% or more, that country is eventually will be a Muslim country, because they have systematically they have a plan, that plan they execute, and this is going on. Have you heard that 1 lakh Rohingyas was given Bangladeshi passport, Indian visa, and settled in Kashmir? Have you heard that?
Yes.
Yes.
Now only. All these years we never heard.
No, now only you're hearing. So look at this systematic plan. Where is the money coming from? Who is giving them passport in Bangladesh? Who is giving visa in Dhaka, High Commission of Dhaka? And how they are being transported to all through India and going to Kashmir and settling in 100,000 Rohingyas are settled already in Kashmir. So we know this thing. So this is time to wake up. Please wake up and do something. We are planning elaborately. Vishwaditya is here. I told him that we have elaborate plan. We have to work so that we win 2020. This is a very serious issue. I want you pay attention, pay a little bit of your time. As we said, Hindus are most divided society. We talk so many things. We have big scholars. We show all this secularism. If India goes, all secularism will go. If you are secular, why don't you preach to Bangladesh? Why when this country became Islamic country, nobody, no scholars, no intellectual from Calcutta raised any voice. No research. No research done. Do you know 3 million people are killed in Bangladesh in 1971 and 2.7 million are Hindus? Who did any research on that genocide? All these scholars are sitting around. This is a forgotten genocide of the human history. Nobody talk about it. Because they are Hindus, they are low-caste Hindus. That's the reason. Forget about this thing. Be united, start definite plan. We are putting everybody's plan. Who are interested, please contact us. We have elaborate plan how to revive these things, change the course of the thing. If we do not change now, it will be too late. Thank you very much.
Next on our list, I have 4 speakers left. Is Arun Ghosh here? I would like to call Arun Ghoshji to this floor.
নমস্কার। আমি আর কি বলবো, সবাই তো বলে দিয়েছে, আমি কাকার সঙ্গে একমত। আর এবং আমি আলোচনা করতে চাই না, খালি একটা কথা বলবো, 2020-তে আমি চাই যে পাকিস্তান, বাংলাদেশ, কাশ্মীর, আচ্ছা আমাদের মানে মাইনরিটির যে পার্সেন্টেজ ছিল সেই পার্সেন্টেজ করার চেষ্টা করুন। আর জুরা যদি জার্মানি থেকে কম্পেনসেশন রেজিস্ট্রেশন পেয়ে থাকতে পারে, আমরাও সেটা চাই। এবং যে কাজটা মোদি করেছে খুবই ভালো কাজ, তা আমি এটাও চাই আগামী বছর 2020-তে মানে আমাদের বাংলাদেশে আমাদের পপুলেশন গ্রোথ হয়ে 30%। সেম থিং লাহোর, পাকিস্তান একই জিনিস। আর যতগুলো সম্পত্তি নিয়েছে সব বেরোচ্ছে, বাকি সব তো বলেছে, আমার কিছু ঠিক আছে। Mostly Bengalis. What I said that I want the percentage of the minorities in Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Kashmir to be the same as it was in not 1971 but 1947.
Yes.
And also one thing, all the properties they have looted with the assistance of the military and the government should be returned. And that's what the Jewish people do. So why can't I do it? And he's correct. You know, already they have stopped Durga Puja. They start so many temples in West Bengal. You know what they call Mamta Begum. And what I call her, Mamta Begum. I finish here.
That's it.
So I'm going to say on behalf of my dad, but first of all, I think a lot of good points were made, especially you. You know, even within our Hindu communities, we have many divisions. Okay, and let's not even go back to the history. We know that a caste system has been a phenomenal drawback in our society. So many people also got converted for that. But let alone, I think the biggest problem what we have is even within the Hindus, there are big chunk of people that are supporting the CAA, and then there are others that are supporting Mamata Banerjee. I think our foremost thing is that how can we convert those people,
Yes, very
right? I think that is the focus and the fundamental things. I mean, if, leaving alone, I think every religion has good and bad, but if you look at Hinduism, as the Sanatana Dharma that we talk about, certainly it's scientific, it is, it's tolerance, it's accepting, it's everything, right? I think it is definitely, it's based on philosophy, right? I mean, it's converted into a religion, but ultimately it's based on philosophy, and it's a phenomenal philosophy, right? The point is that there are people, like in every religion, that misconstrue and, misconstrue it and, twist it for their own needs. But the point is that I think we as a Hindu first need to educate others. There are comments made everywhere in social media and everything, and I think as many esteemed people here, suggested, I think we should write. Like me personally, I make it a point. There's one Muslim guy, his name is Dr. Razwan. Okay, he supports Modi, and he actually, that's why I said we have to be very careful. Let's not say Islam. We say in the name of Islam, people are doing this. I think that will make our voice a lot more prominent. Because the moment we say Islam and we Hindu, you're segregating, you're making a very bad impression. I think impression is very, very important. The point is that we should selectively choose people that understand that India has always been in support for the oppressed, right? Well, if you go back to the Parsi, if you go back to the Jewish, if you look at Poland, there are almost, 1 million people that Indian welcomed when none of the European countries were welcoming them. The whole population would have been abolished. So India throughout the history has always accepting people, the oppressed. And that's what Dr. Razwan said. He said, people are misconstruing, twisting things. As I said, India is not bringing people that are oppressed, majority oppressed. India is not inviting them or accepting them. India is only focusing on people that are oppressed. So the point is, I think that sort of information should be in the media, and should be in any form of media. And I think that is the most important thing that we have to take from here, and that is what we need to convey in our own way, either through social media or in the universities or through friends that if you can educate. It's through words, I think we can convey a lot to a lot of people. I think that's very, very important. Educating people that don't know, they in turn will help us propagate that information. I think that's what's very important.
See, here I would like to add something. Everybody reads newspaper in the internet nowadays. Every newspaper after the news has a comment section. I think everybody has an email address. Why not everybody start writing their opinions in the comment section? That will go a long, long way. I have been doing it for the last 15 years, and you'll be surprised I got more than 100 followers, more than 100,000 comments I put in the newspaper, and I think you can do the same thing. Media, social media has become a bigger media than all fake media. So it's time that we all learned people, we all educated people, we can always write few lines. We have experience, we know the history also. A lot of people don't know anything about history. As we were talking about, some of the leaders even don't know the history about the world actually. So it's time that we should put some comments based on our experience, based on our knowledge. That will do a great job. Thank you.
My name is Kamalantu Sarkar. Yeah, I'm living here for last 37 years. And I was with the Bengali community here. But today, instead of problem, we are going to talk about solution. We have no problem, only solution. But Hinduism in danger, especially Bengali Hindu, because of some intellectual Bengalis, they are kissing, sorry, pardon my language, Muslim ass. And those people don't think that from now, 20 years from now, there will be no Hindu in Bengal, and 50 years from now, there will be no Hindu in India. They will say, convert, get out, or get killed. So now, no fight, all Bengali should be one, regardless of their difference. Work together to save our children and their future. That's all I say.
From the Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council, who has been an activist in the community for so long and a very good friend of mine. He has been involved in helping us get Diwali as a holiday in New York, although our mayor doesn't seem to want to give it.
He's a big writer too.
Yes.
Namaste everybody. I'm really glad that a lot of people are here today, and thank you for coming here. Nisha is a good friend of mine. We are working. I saw anywhere in Hindu, she is there, and I am also there. Another good friend is Mr. Vincent Bruno. Bruno, I usually say I am a Hindu, but from born, but Bruno is more Hindu than me, and maybe more Hindu than all of us here. Okay, we were in Delhi in last week of November, and we means 7, 8, something like a dozen people from 7, 8 countries. Europe, Canada, and America, and everywhere we go, including Ram Madhav, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, RSS, Amit Shahji, everybody asks us, what is your opinion on CAP? That time it was CAP, CAB, Citizenship Amendment Bill. Our statement was, this is a humanitarian law, and after 72 years, Bangladeshi Hindus will be free of miseries of partition. These two gentlemen, Modi ji and Amit Shah, give us that. That means we full-heartedly support it. Please do it. But we add one thing, that please, don't keep the border open. We are 2 crores Bangladeshis still in Bangladesh. Bangladeshi Hindus want to live in Bangladesh with peace and dignity. Ensure that. These two crore Hindus is a friend to India, and they are deterrent factor to Islamic terrorists. If these 2 crore Hindus are there, Bangladesh will not be Pakistan. So please, help us, help these 2 crore Hindus to stay in Bangladesh. Okay, I think just, we had given a statement, you have saw it, that something like 20 countries, something like 3-4 dozen people, international. And it has been published in Calcutta. It will be published in India Abroad. Called me yesterday. They told me that they will publish it. I'm sure a lot of newspaper will publish it. They also say the same thing. CAA is a blessing to Bangladeshi Hindus. I'm talking about Bangladeshi only because I'm from Bangladesh. CAA is a blessing to Hindus. Somebody write in my Facebook that if Modi is there, there will be no Pakistan. He's from Bangladesh majority community. I said that's why Modi should be there. We don't need Pakistan. Please answer everything positively. That means Pakistan is a terrorist country. We don't need Pakistan. And as Indian, suppose I am from Bangladesh, but I don't do BJP, I don't do RSS, I don't do Vishwa Hindu Parishad, but I support BJP. Because why? Because he is thinking of me. If you want whatever, something good for Hindus in India, just keep Modi in power. These 2 gentlemen, Modi and Shah, will do a lot of things. Believe me, next step is POK. Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Definitely these 2 gentlemen will take it. Take it guaranteed from me. They are talking this openly now. This Kashmir was never Pakistan's property. It was always India's part and parcel. Indian wrong politics from 47 to until this 2014-15, Pakistan claimed POK. That time is coming, that will end. Take it from me.
How about the unified civil code?
Oh, yes.
I'm sure, I'm talking that, you see, they talk freely now. Next step is uniform civil code. There is no doubt it. These two are in their brain right now. Uniform civil code and POK. And if these two come, majority of the problem will be solved in India. Whatever happening is West Bengal. If NRC is there, well, India need NRC. West Bengal need NRC more than any of these states in India, because there are almost 1 crore illegal voters in West Bengal, and Mamata is winning with those voters.
But your system does not like.
What?
Your system Mamata does not like.
That's okay, Mamata. Who likes what Mamata likes is not matter. What West Bengal people like, that will matter. I'm telling you. When we are Delhi, there is something like 20 people come from Calcutta to meet with us. All of them are dedicated. I'm saying all of them are dedicated, and they are saying that don't worry. In 2021, end of Mamata. Let it be like that. You see, Mamata is now working. So, Mamata is now working on foot. Then Dilip Ghosh says she is practicing it because from 2021 she has to walk on the streets. That is what it is. Please raise your voice. Yes.
Unusual for me to come back on the stage second time. It is the first time in my life I've ever done this. And the reason is there were questions raised here. One, wonderfully done. India has always welcomed others, oppressed. Only when India was in power.
Yes.
Only when India was ruled by Hindus. So just want to clarify this. And as far as Islam is concerned, let's not mince words. Somebody who has been subjugated, conquered, controlled by Muslims. I don't want to use the word Mughals. I don't want to use the word Tatars because it doesn't convey the meaning. There's only one underlying thread between them, Islam. They massacred, not according to me, according to the books of professors who write, 80 million. Are you with me?
Yep.
80 million Hindus. Yep. We talk about 6 million Jews. It's about time you all start talking about 18 million Hindus. And Hitler killed Jews. They say openly, Muslims killed 80 million Hindus. And we say, mat bolo, mat bolo.
Scholars.
Thirdly, if you want to live, sir, as a Hindu in Bangladesh with full rights, with full privileges, with dignity, there is only one way. If they are secular democracies. India liberated Bangladesh in 71. In 1988, in 71 it was a secular country. In 88 it declared itself Islamic State. So don't be fooled. Don't stay quiet. Speak it. Let you be labeled as a rabid dog. Doesn't matter. Okay? And one other final word I'll say, and that is also from Sir Winston Churchill. Long before there was even in India, he said an individual Muslim is a very decent, dignified man. However, the influence of this culture makes them act totally bizarre. I'm not forgetting the language. And he said, this is the most retrograde force that exists in the world. So don't be fooled by anything that you see now. It is more easy to kill people now. If they could kill 80 million at that time, they can wipe out all Hindus. Please, so don't be sleeping. Thank you. Sorry for taking it up.
I think today's meeting was a great meeting and more are supposed to come now. But we have to give the message which people have given us. So don't forget, always ask questions. There are a lot of questions you should have in your mind and all answers are there.
All right, and now Pavitra Chowdhury, who is the Vice President of the Indian American Intellectuals Forum, and who's responsible for helping coordinate all of this here today.
These people responsible for doing this thing are these people. Hello, namaskar. We are meeting here for not for any auspicious occasion or anything. Just we are in a grave danger, I would have to say.
Yes.
India is looking at a totally Islamic state. That is the way it is coming now. Think of Indonesia. Just 500 years back, in 15th century, it was an entirely Hindu country. It took some Arab traders to take some things from Arab to Indonesia. Then 3 people from Indonesia, they went to the Arab country. In 1605, they returned, and together with the sword and with the beads, they changed the whole country. Within 100 years, the entire Indonesia country, it became a Muslim country from a Hindu country. That was possible then. Now it can be possible even in a lesser time, because communication is very easy nowadays. But we never learn from the history. We always think, oh, it will not happen to us. Think of it, when Somnath temple was under attack, under fierce attack, every preparations were there. Actually the conquest makers, they arrived there, the Islamic forces arrived. But nobody stopped this Sultan Mahmud and others, because they thought Lord Shiva, Lord Somnathji, they will save them. In the day before, they were worshipping in the temple. The force was coming, the news was spread out. But they thought that Lord Shiva will save. Lord Shiva never saved. He saves only those who want to save themselves.
Yes.
And I know that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is our philosophy. That's fine. We agree to it. But at the same time, we do not regard to what Lord Krishna said. Lord Krishna said, kill even your brother or uncle or anyone who is not doing fair thing. For injustice, you can do anything to make it right. That we are not doing. Because we don't want to confront the truth. Because Hindus, you will find that Tamil slow, soft people are like that. Out of most of that softness comes the inside fearness. I live in a Muslim-dominated area here myself. And at the same time, I am very clear in my talks and letters I write. I don't mince words that are like the... I will talk about Amartya Sen. Just give me a chance to tell that also. But you have to stay what you say, and you don't have to be coward. Anyway, I may die right now in an accident, in a street outside in a car accident. So let us be frank and tell the truth. As I remember Amartya Sen, I will tell you something, what the Hindu intellectuals are doing. This is a cutting from the New York Times. I will tell it. It says, a world not neatly divided. It is coming from a date particularly interesting to you to know. And the author, November 3rd, 23, 2001, from New York Times, and it is written by Professor Amartya Sen. Look at the date. Interesting is that it is November 13, 2001. We know when 9/11 happened. That was October 9/11 in 2001. Just within 2 months, this article has come from Cambridge. to New York Times. And what is the title? A world not neatly divided. The reason is that there was a talk just after the 9/11 bombings, killings, massacre, mayhem, that there is a clash of civilizations. Western civilization and the Eastern civilization, Muslim civilization, Christian civilization, that topics came around in the market. And it was going so and so deep that people were afraid, particularly the Muslim community, there may be attacks on the Islamic forces on some form or other. And you know who got very much alarmed by that? Our own intellectual, our own brand name, Amartya Sen. He actually tried to emphasize in that article that civilizations are not that watertight compartment. So there is nothing such Western civilization, there is nothing such as Indian civilization or Hindu civilization. Then he said, very cruel brain, I would say cruel, or I could say that is crooked, or I can say really sinister, but I don't want to use any of this word. I just say such a kind of marvelous brain, because after all he is a Nobel laureate. He said that there is no such thing as Hindu civilization. Input in Hindu civilization is 40% Muslim civilization. So if that means, other way, if you want to attack the Islam civilization, you can as well make a target of Hindu civilization. Because Hindu civilization has the content of 40% of Islamic contribution. Then I thought, this gentleman sitting in Cambridge that time made a letter to New York Times so that he can just influence the whole world. And if there is an attack on India, that is still welcome than an attack on Islam civilization. That is to me, it looks like that is the purport of this writer. Now, that is the way our people are working. And look at, we have these figures here telling you now and again about the very unfair partisan way of treatment to Hindus. This is an article, you see the date, it is very old, I'm telling you the date. It was also printed on 2002, November 25. It says of 10 killed in attack in Kashmir, in temple. Just one time, 10 killed that day and another 30 killed in the few months before. That is all what he had. There is no repetition of this message. There is no anniversary of this message. This same New York Times. But who killed this 10 killed? Who killed? Muslim killed. They will not write it. But if something like Akhlaq was a Muslim guy who was killed in Uttar Pradesh by Hindus, even they make an anniversary of it every year. Anniversary, remembering that Hindus killed Akhlaq for cow slaughter like that. That is the way all the newspapers go. And same way, and the same newspaper which I'll show you current date. Look how big this picture is. A full-page picture. In this picture of a very tough young gentleman, 29 years old. 29 years old. Headline is Refugees Discover There's No Escape from Facebook. And this New York Times has spent 3 pages on him. This just recent, June 1st. You know what his problems are, what the Hindus are doing? Hindus are not giving him shelter, they said. He is a Rohingya coming to India at the age of 23, and this paper is shedding tears for him because he has got only 3 children. He has got no roof, but he has got 3 children and one also pregnant wife. Now how come, how many Indian Hindus can marry and have 3 children or 2 children by the time he gets 29? Instead of asking that question, the paper is saying that he is so much befuddled that he is not having any place to stay. Now how he went to India? Why is India is the place for him to go? He is from Rohingya. That is the way the newspapers are working. Our own paper here, India Abroad, and another one is News India. The two are more, in fact, those are more, I would say, the very wrong word, but I would say they never print anything about the problems of the Hindus in Bangladesh or Kashmir. You will find they are shedding tears for your Rohingya, but never shed a tear for the Kashmiri Muslims. And the funny thing is that all, in Bangladesh they are giving the right to come and stay in India for the Bangladeshi Muslims. That is a very peculiar thing ever happened to anyone in the world. Because the Indian Hindus are given the right because they are the ones that got murdered, raped, victims like that. But at the same time they are giving the shelter to the victimized, raped victims, others. They are rewarding the murderers, they are rewarding the rapists, and trying to include the name of the Muslims for giving the shelter in India. In the history of the world, never it has happened, and they are trying to do it for themselves. And you know what happened in Bangladesh? It is not done by one person or a couple of persons. The whole nation was enjoined in the whole system of raping and murder. So it is very unwholesome proposal, wrong proposal.
Raping Hindu women is a national pastime in Bangladesh.
In fact, one gentleman told me,
Recreation.
in my neighborhood there is a gentleman named Mr. Roy. I took him to an interview. To a senator. He told in his presence, in his wife's presence, the people from outside came and raped the woman in the house right in broad daylight. And we actually, Hindus show the rape victim mentality. They hide the rape. In fact, if you hide and don't tell it out, speak it out, that will continue forever. So I want everyone, particularly the younger generation, to come forward. We are giving the mantle to you and take it up. Thank you. Bye.
More speakers, but first I would like to introduce Mr. Vincent Bruno, who is a very dedicated and prominent American Hindu activist. He started Justice for Hindus, and he has been working tirelessly day and night for the Hindu cause. Believe me, I know, writing. We started from college at school doing this, and I've known him for years. Please, Vincent, come here and give us your take on the issues at hand.
Hello everyone. So I have a Hindu social justice organization called Justice for Hindus. You can find it at www.justiceforhindus.org. So we had three goals with this organization. One was to end Pakistan apartheid, one was to end Bangladesh genocide, and the third one was to help Hindu refugees in India. I actually went to India and I visited the Hindu refugee camps that are in Delhi. And there were many children there, parents. We went and we fed them and we clothed them, and they were living in a very deplorable situation. And you can find these refugee camps in other areas of India as well. They're all over the place. These are refugees that have mostly fled from Pakistan, but I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time in India did you see a Muslim refugee camp? When was the last time did you see Muslims who had been thrown out of their homes and persecuted and murdered? Where are their slums? Where are their refugee camps? Why aren't their children starving? CAA is important because I'm not saying that Rohingyas shouldn't be helped, but like others said, there's plenty. Why do they need to go? There's neighboring Muslim nations. Why can't they go there? Why do they need to come to India?
Or Europe. Good question.
Or Europe, or anywhere else. The Muslim community is drenched with money. They have oil money. They could do whatever they wanted. If the Muslim community really wanted to help their people, they could do it. It's a lack of will. They don't want to, and they want to throw it on the democratic people of the world. They don't practice a secular democracy. They don't offer that to other people. And in this day and age, we're taught and we're told that we're not allowed to have subjective cultural preferences. So Muslims are allowed to come into a nation and change the culture, and they're allowed to promote Sharia. They're allowed to change the culture. Nobody stops them. Nobody says anything. But when you say, well, when the other side says, I don't want my culture changed, I don't want my government changed, I don't want things to change, they are disrespected. However, if you go to a Muslim country as a minority and you say, I want this culture to change, they're going to tell you no way. And let me tell you, the same people who will chastise you for trying to halt the encroachment of Islamic culture in your society are the very same people that would tell you when you go to a Muslim country you have to respect their ways. They are a special class of people. They are being given special dispensation and preferential treatment, and they give preferential discrimination against Hindus in Pakistan and Bangladesh. So India, which is a democracy, should offer them special dispensation and special preference in refugee status. And I just want to say that I think now those Hindu refugee children that I went to go visit in India, I guess they're citizens now, right? I mean, as well as their parents, all those refugees from India, from Pakistan are refugees, and I don't see why anyone's upset about that. It's not illegal immigration, it's forced immigration. Nobody's forcing Muslims to immigrate into India. They're not being expelled from any country, they're not being persecuted in any of their own countries. There's no need for it. There's no need for it, and they are just entering the country illegally for personal reasons. They either want to have a better economic status, or they want more freedom, or they want to change the culture. But why aren't they changing their own countries? Why aren't they changing the social engineering?
Playing the number game of democracy.
Yes, they're playing the number game of democracy, but why can't we ask them to change their own countries? Why do they want to come here? They got in Muslim countries. They got what they wanted. You got what you wanted, and now they want more. So I just want to say that personally, I am very happy that CAA was passed and that these refugees that I saw in India have a place. And thank you very much.
I am Prakash Gupta from Bangladesh, representing from Bangladesh Hindu Coalition. We are the Bangladeshi Hindus suffering from 70 years. When India is dividing, making Pakistan, where was the secularism? Secularism is the excuse to expand Islamic propaganda. If Muslims believe in secularism and democracy, show me one country out of 56 Muslim countries which is secular and democratic, giving you citizenship or cap. Tiger is carnivorous, tiger is not vegetarian. Punjab is peaceful. Similarly, India need to exchange Muslim from Bangladesh, then West Bengal will be peaceful. India is intolerant, while Rohingya is coming to India, where China is only 2 kilometers from Myanmar to go there. India led Muslim countries to make a citizenship law for Muslim people, then India will see how many Muslims will leave India. If you live your entire life in Middle East, you will never get citizenship. They will send out illegal immigrant. Not Muslim, now Muslim want Indian citizenship. India has to give them citizenship. Nobody do research for Hindu Holocaust. Everybody do research for Rohingya Holocaust to get attention by Muslim media. This is called secularism. Secularism is a farce. The OA secularism inserted in the Indian Constitution, Indira Gandhi, by declaring emergency. Same way present government declare emergency and should be eliminated from Constitution. Great leader makes the country great. America got Abraham Lincoln, unfortunately India got Gandhi. 1946, to encounter direct action, Gandhi never declared counter action. That's why India is divided and millions of Hindus died and assassinated. If our ancestors were aware about the danger of Islamic invasion, then India would not be divided into 5 countries. We do not have to convert it Muslim. Every time India break, it become a Muslim country, not secular or for other nation country. Why only Muslim want to divide India? Why not Hindus or Christian? Both sides of India, if you see, every country is Islamic country. If they make India Muslim country, then they can change the fulcrum, means the center of balance, to turn the whole world into a Muslim world. The society never destroy for the bad people. Society destroy for the good people, because good people hang down their hand and act like an intellectual. Thanks Indian American Intellectual Forum, they are really acting to save Hindu, to save India, making India great again. We are big group from Bangladesh Hindu Coalition. Raise your hand, Mr. Govindo, Nitai and Bivash. We all stand with you, all support CAA. One speaker mentioned vandalism. I would like to say vandalism started 1400 years ago by breaking and slam 360 deity in Arab. If you call that is a religion, then what you would call the actual religion? Thank you all. Thank you very much.
What Satya is saying is something to think about it and analyze about it. But the problem lies with us that our Hindus who has converted to Islam, our Hindus who has converted to Christianity, we are not doing anything to bring them back. The problem lies with us also, that we have a billion of Hindus who has converted to Islam. When I see a Punjabi Muslim, I don't see any difference between me and him. But he talks about Islam and I talk about Hinduism. How come me as a Hindu is a good person while he has converted to Islam and become a bad person? It's all education, all what he has learned from the books and from his neighborhood. Question is, we are not doing enough job, or we are not telling all our converts, hey, what do you gain by being conversion? If you have become a Muslim, what do you gain? Look at your woman. She is now unprotected woman. She cannot go and educate herself and earn any money. She lives a very pathetic life. If nobody knows what she goes every day. Every woman in Islam gets beaten every day. Why she's getting beaten every day? Because she should be under control. Every child gets beaten so that he should obey his father and things like that. You don't know what goes on in Islamic house. Nobody goes and tells you. Media never covers it. And it is our duty to find out what goes to the Muslim woman. Why she is in parda? Because she cannot show her injuries at all. Can you believe that? She cannot show her injuries. We people should understand what's going on. So question is, we have a problem. We are not asking our Hindu Muslim converts back to Hinduism also. This is some of the things to think about it. And another point what we have to ask about it, why India is not declared as a Hindu nation? Well, Pakistan has not taken much time to declare Islamic nation, Bangladesh Islamic nation. Why Hindus in India are not demanding India should be declared as a Hindu nation? This is surprising. When I talk about it, they talk about secularism. Hey, they say we are inclusive. Oh, be inclusive, but declare India as a Hindu nation. At least let other people live in peace, but they should be known that they are living in a Hindu nation. These little things can make a lot of difference. And I think the voice from America, voice from here is heard loud and clear in India. In India, a lot of people are afraid to say, talk, because of one reason or another reason, but we are living in a great country. I consider America as a heaven on earth. When we are here, we should do everything possible to make India and Indian people liberated, let them think properly, and let them demand things what they deserve, because our future generation will curse us. Look back how our ancestors fought so much that today we are still Hindus. Otherwise, look at Iran and other places. There is no culture left there. So the question is, we should be fortunate. We are very fortunate, we are very lucky, we are still Hindus, and to make sure that our children remain Hindus, we have to do something. So let's think about it.
Namaste. My name is Vilas Reddy, Overseas Friends of BJP, National Youth Co-Convener. Special thanks to Indian American Intellectual Forum, because to open discussion about secularism, what is CAA, many speakers have gave wonderful suggestions. These discussions should go to the social media. Whatever discussion in this room, it should go in the outside of the media. So other than America, we should social media we can inform to other countries what is CAA, what is Modi is doing. And many times the intellectual words comes always, communists are coming, universities, and they will give the lectures, they will talk about all negatives of India. So we need to encounter from this Indian American Intellectual Forum. Now onwards, it should open for forum always. So all the show up is needed in future also. And I am from Hyderabad, Telangana. You know the famous word Telangana, Hyderabad means, you remember one name is a MIMOIC.
I know.
Those are under the present government TRS, Telangana Rashtra Samiti government in Telangana. They are not supporting for CAA because of in Hyderabad, 50,000 undocumented, documented Rohingyas are in Hyderabad. So that is documented, and undocumented are double or like 4-5 times, because right, the one Muslim family can 10 or 20 people come. So that is a documented 50,000 Rohingyas in Hyderabad. We don't know undocumented. So that's why they are voting or appeasement they are doing. So we are now next West Bengal, the Telangana is the critical problem. So what is the next target is BJP government should form in West Bengal. After that in Telangana we are targeting. There's a next upcoming elections, West Bengal and Telangana, BJP will form. So now my request is, all we need to support CAA, what is the Citizen Amendment Act. Today we are doing at Times Square 2 o'clock, all Indian American community along with the OABJP. So if you have once this session done, please come to the Times Square. It is 20 minutes from here. 2 o'clock, please join and please support. Thank you. Thanks a lot, all the team.